Hi, Tiramisu.
Hi, Buttercup.
Hello, John and Joel.
Hi.
Hi.
So we have chosen to switch up topics today. We were obviously discussing interracial marriage in our last episode. Of course, with what's going on in our city, Buffalo, New York, we felt it was important that we address this today, and we will continue with our other topic next episode. I don't even know where to begin. I have nothing prepared. I'm going to speak this like I usually do, right from the heart. I cannot, as I know all of you have, it's been a rough week. I can't get past what has occurred in our hometown. Now, Buffalo is known as the city of good neighbors, which is, you will see on Tiramisu's shirt. And truly, Buffalo really is the city of good neighbors. Is Buffalo without fault? Absolutely not. Are there lots of changes that need to take place? Absolutely. But this hateful, evil tragedy that came into our backyard, it's just really, I don't have words. So what I'm going to do right now is just make mention of the 10 victims that lost their lives. Okay, just in remembrance of Miss Ruth Whitfield, Miss Roberta Drury, I'm sorry, Aaron Salter, Hayward Patterson, Pearl Young, Geraldine Talley, Celestine Cheney, Catherine Macy, Marcus Morrison, and Andre McNeil. Tiramisu, Donna, Joel, whoever wants to join in at this time, feel free.
I think for me, I was not home when this horrible incident occurred. And so my first even knowledge of it was on a group chat that a group of wonderful high school Buffalo friends are on. And all I saw were comments like, what in the world? What happened? I can't believe this. This is horrible. And when I turned on the television and saw our city on national news, and there was a commentator that was discussing the story. And as I looked at him, I found, of course, this relatability. He was an African-American commentator. And as he was trying to report, he had to pause. He paused and he began to choke up. And he said, the only thing I can really say is, I'm just tired. And for me, he echoed my same sentiment, just tired. Because as an African-American woman, I am consciously aware and alert every single day when I leave my home that there will be some that don't like me just because of the color of my skin. And you think about that, and then you look at this incident that occurred, and what I feel is terribly disheartened, saddened, and we have made some progress, but there is still so much more to go. John and Joel?
This has been probably one of the toughest weeks of my life. I haven't thought about anything else this entire week. On the day that this occurred, Joel and I were out with his family at his sister's house, enjoying his brother and his sister and our niece and just family time. It was a beautiful Saturday afternoon. We were remarking about like the weather and how nice it was. And we just had a really great afternoon. And then we came home, and we hadn't listened to any news or anything like that because we were sitting out in her backyard and just enjoying one another. And it was a time where you just want to focus on family and not be bothered by anything else. You just want to celebrate just being together. And then we came home, and Joel saw, I believe you saw, that there was a shooting. And it's one of those moments where when the Twin Towers fell and you said, I know exactly where I was, and I know exactly what happened that day. It was that kind of moment for me. It was so tragic that it was almost an out of body experience where I couldn't process that it happened here. It's something that you turn on the news and you see in someone else's city. You see that it happened to, someone else, somewhere else. And to know that it happened here, was just mind numbing in a way, just hard to process. What about you?
Yeah, I was, like everybody, it was a sadness, it was shock, it was anger, frustration. Again, the pain that I saw on the faces of those who I'm closest to, including my wife. And, when I say just including my wife, what I mean is primarily the television, the victims' families, and things like that. But then people who are close to me in the African American community and at large within my family, things like that. And also, it doesn't get past me that there were, many of my fellow white brothers and sisters online who also felt that same pain. When I say same, I'm not trying to compare or tie it to an equal pain, because that's not what I'm getting at. What I mean is the common pain and the pain that people felt for the sadness of the victims who were specifically targeted for their race. Not that pain, but the pain of the loss, the pain of white families looking and seeing and feeling the pain of possibly losing somebody to someone who is hateful and murderous, and not necessarily experiencing it on a racial level, but experiencing it on a level of a mother or the level of a father or the level of a child or things like that. So there's that common bond, that human bond that connected everybody at this moment who, regardless of political views or regardless of past differences, there seemed to be a coming together, and it seemed to be a putting away of the nonsense and the differences, even from those who may have gravitated toward political views that this individual shared, and he just took it to a level of hate. And so you found that even conservative people were like, no, this is not, where we are. This is not who we are. This is not what we believe in. And so there tended to be a people coming together and seeing just the pain and the anger and the frustration and the loss. And my heart goes out specifically to my brothers and sisters in the Jefferson Avenue community, who we're familiar with. My wife and I did volunteer work over there approximately 28 years ago, with a group named Group Ministries over there that would feed homeless and do things like that. So we're very familiar with that area with Jefferson and Utica right there at the corner where the Tops is located. And I guess my, point when it comes to interracial marriages, when you're younger and you're married in an interracial relationship and you see the racial tension that's been there forever, it just rears its ugly head in situations like this periodically where it becomes extreme, but you've always known it was there. Sometimes we have felt it. Sometimes it has hit home. Sometimes it has hit home to those we love or someone close to us. But my point being is that when you're in an interracial relationship or a marriage and you're younger, you have this view that, you know, you want to change the world, that you want others to see the world through your eyes. You want to be able to share the experiences that you've had in a positive way in the minority community that you grew up in. And you want everyone else to know that it's not bad, it's not negative. There are a lot of positive things that you've experienced. And like you said earlier, Kathy, it's not all positive. There are definitely negatives and things that we experienced growing up in uh, different communities and having, you know, differences and things of that nature. But the point being is there were so many positive experiences that they far outweighed the negative. And so what you want to do is when you become married and you're in an interracial relationship or you have interracial children or things of that nature, and you're younger, you have this innocent view of wanting to change the world and be an example, and you want other people to see. But then as you get older, you realize it's too much of a burden to bear. You can't carry that. You can't change the world. You can't expect others to see what you see or experience what you experience and see it in a positive way. Many people are speaking about hatred or racial tensions or animosity or bigotry or prejudice or racism through fear and through ignorance. And so what ends up happening is you want to share your experiences, which are based in real life, and you want to be able to open people's eyes, but then you realize, you know, that's not my job. I can't do that for somebody, and we can't make somebody see the life that we've experienced or experience life the way we've experienced it. And it's not a matter of better or worse. We've been through things. We've been through negative things too. We've gone through things that racially shaped us in a negative manner. But the point is that overall, we've decided that, you know, there's too many positives to allow the negatives to rule our lives when it comes to racial issues and racial tension and things of that nature. So we want to fall on the positive side. We want to be able to bring people together. But again, that being the case, when you get older and more mature in your relationship in a marriage that's interracial, you realize, you know what, I'm just going to have to live my life and be who I am. And if others see something or experience something from our lives or from our marriage, then that's great. But that's the more genuine way, I think, to approach it rather than to try to proactively go out and be this shining light to the world, which in essence, it doesn't necessarily work and you get frustrated and you get bitter over time. So I think what happens is you just simply take a seat back or take a step back and you know, sit there, you know what, I'm just going to live my life and I'm going to be who I am. And I'm not going to allow this fear to overrun my life. And I'm not going to, now, I think there is responsibility when it comes to racial tension, when it comes to racism, when it comes to bigotry that rears its head. And I'm speaking to white people at this point, because it's really not my place to speak to the Black community as far as, you know, how should we deal with racism? That's up to the Black community. For me, speaking to the white community, I think the least we can do is that not let it go unchecked when it rears its ugly head. We know who
Right.
these family members are.
Right.
We know who these, when we get together and have family reunions or get-togethers and things of that nature, oh, that's only so-and-so, he'll never change. No, we don't know. Too long have we been the ones to sit back and feel uncomfortable when they spew their racial garbage. And
Sure.
even if they're 90 years old or 80 years old or 70 years old, and we try to excuse them and say, well, you know what, they're old, that's from a different generation. No, we're not going to take that. We're not going to accept that. And we need to check it. And we need to get to a point where we're comfortable enough to say something and say, you know, I don't respect your opinions and how you're speaking about, you know, Black people. And it doesn't have to be confrontational where you have to get violent with somebody, but you'll be surprised how cowardly people are when they spew this hatred, or they do it in jest or in humor. And and I've always found that what ends up happening is somebody is going to be uncomfortable in those situations. We have to choose who it's going to be. If we allow them to be comfortable with their bigotry and their hatred and what they say in front of us, we're the ones who go home zipping our mouth, and we're sitting there hours later saying, man, I know I should have said something, or man, I can't believe I didn't say this or I didn't say that. And now we lose sleep over it. So we're uncomfortable based on what they've said. Why should we be the ones to be felt or made to feel uncomfortable? Why can't we, in a gentle and a professional but stern manner, check people when they say things that are racist, when they say things that are out of the spectrum of what we respect and we believe? So what we need to do is we need to take responsibility for that. And this individual, who I don't even know his name, the one who carried out this heinous crime, I'm quite sure that he wasn't checked. I'm quite sure that he was able to spew his viewpoint, his hatred, and his garbage in among family and friends. And they were like, oh, it's just, how he is. Or he's, only this old, or whatever it is. No, we have a responsibility to stop it in its tracks. And all it takes is a verbal commitment to say, I don't respect what you're saying. Because you have to realize, when people are speaking this way, it's not only out of fear, but it's out of cowardice. They come
Absolutely.
across so brave and so strong, and like they're going to do something. But when you check them, you'd be surprised how they back down. And I've had both situations happen in my life. I've had far too many where I didn't say anything. And I was the one who went home and felt, you know what? I wish I would have said something, or said, or, I can't believe I sat there. Or sometimes we even sat there and we uncomfortably were so caught off guard that we laugh about it. And then we're sitting there knowing we're not agreeing with it, but it's almost like a defense mechanism. It's like we're agreeing, like we're a part of what that person is saying, when we know we don't.
Right.
So as we mature and get older, and I think older people tend to not take things as easily as when younger people, older people, they just speak their mind. We used to say it all the time. So what happens when you get older, we realize, well, you know what? I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to sit here and agree with this individual or go down this path and allow them to make me feel uncomfortable. And it's what I found is that in the times where I've decided to check somebody, or I've decided to say something, that it's interesting how little you have to say because of how scared they really are. And how white people know that other white people feel comfortable saying this to us, thinking, if they don't know us and they don't know our background or our family, or where we're, who's in our group, or who we're married to, or what our kids are, if they don't know that situation, they feel comfortable saying things like that. It's time for us to make them feel uncomfortable. And what ends up happening is there are some individuals, like I ran across a neighbor who knew that I was married to Dawn, who knew my kids were mixed, and had the nerve to say something to me. And I checked him right away. And it's interesting that he started doing this song and dance. Oh, no, I have a black friend. Okay, you know what? What you said offended me. And here's what we're going to do. You're going to go your way. I'm going to go mine. I'm done with you. I
There's
don't have
that
anything.
comment, Tiramisu. I have a
The-
black friend.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I thought of when he said it. Yes.
Yeah. And so,
Mhm.
and again, that when it comes down to it, I guess what I'm getting at is, no, we're not gonna solve this overnight, and we're not gonna, but we're also, we white people, we have a responsibility, and our responsibility, each and every person, step one. This is like grade one. This is the basic stuff. This is not something like, radical, where we're gonna go out and change laws and everything else, or make somebody, step one. We need to check the people around us to make sure they're not saying things that are based in racial hatred or bigotry. And if we do allow that, and we feel no remorse, and no guilt and no shame, we need to examine ourselves. Maybe we're like them.
Mm.
Maybe we share the same thought patterns. Maybe I'm a racist. That's shocking to realize that. But you know what's interesting is that nobody really wants to admit they're that. Usually, 99% of the people will say, you know, if you say, "Well, are you racist?" No, 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 I'm not racist. But what's interesting is that you know you find some people saying some racist things or acting out in a racist manner, and oftentimes it's certainly not to the extreme like this individual did. But the point being is this individual didn't start like that. He started small. He started with his thoughts and he started with his words. And so my message is to the white community that we need to own this. We need to take ownership of this in the small ways and deal with it in the small ways by dealing with it in our own backyard. And no, we don't have to get in fist fights, and no, we don't have to start fighting people or take it to, you know, violent or anything like that. Because again, interestingly enough, it doesn't need, they're not that brave.
It
They're
really
not.
doesn't take much. It really
Right.
does. I mean, it can be the slightest correction, where someone just makes one little comment and you have a quick example. Someone said to me in a work setting, yeah, my girlfriend, her daughter, she's got these little black kids, And I said, they must be the most beautiful children you've ever seen. It takes the smallest correction.
Right.
Some
Right.
people, when you stop them with the little things, because after that, I know that he would have went further if I would not have said anything. But after that, it turned into,
Exactly.
oh, yeah, they are, and it turned into another conversation. So you're right, Joel. You don't need to get into a fist fight, but you need to correct it so that people know I can't bring this crap over here. This person is going to indulge me in this, and it has to be nipped. It has to be nipped.
And that's where I reach out to my fellow friends and my whoever's listening to this that may be on my friends list. Maybe you're my former classmates. Maybe you're friends of friends. Maybe you're family members. Whoever you are, you know, make me proud. You know, make me proud. The next time someone confronts you about something like that or says something like that to you, check it. You know, I don't have to be there. You have to tell me about it. You know, I just want you I believe in you, and I hope the best, and you know, I think the best of you, and I really believe in my heart that you will be able and willing to, you know, check something when someone says something that's seriously racist. And again, I'm not talking about Archie Bunker bigotry, humor, that kind of thing. You know, that we all laugh about racial things that are harmless. That's different. But we know when it comes down to racial things that are harmful. We know the comments and how there's a difference between racial humor and racial harmful comments. And so, you know, everybody seems to know, I would imagine, knows the difference.
I think one of the things I want to say is that when someone who says that they are ignorant, they may not say it rather, but they may know that they are ignorant and they want to make a change. They want to do something, but they don't know what to do.
Mhm.
I think what both you and Buttercup mentioned, if you just say something and recognize that silence is not an option for you, even those incremental changes will go far. It may just be in your backyard. It may just be within your family. But imagine if every person that sits in
Right,
ignorance did that same thing,
right.
how much more we would be better at combating the persons that believe in such hideous, heinous racial crimes, racial threats, those persons that are severely prejudiced and just hateful. The smallest of changes would make a difference. And so I think that I want to encourage all those that view this particular discussion to look inwardly. If you say that you were moved by what happened in Buffalo, then don't just stay there, right? Be moved to do something. If you say, I don't know what to do, well, we gave you a few options. You can begin to speak up and speak out when you hear things that are said that are ignorant. There were many that I saw as I viewed what has been going on back in Buffalo that are coming together. So I don't want to leave it on a sour note, but just
Right.
recognize that Buffalo truly is a city of good neighbors. There are tons of individuals out that are giving back, that are sharing, that are providing food and groceries, because for some, that particular Tops on Jefferson was their main source of space to go to get the food that they need for their families. So I want to commend all those that are contributing in any type of way to all those persons in Buffalo. And I want to encourage each viewer to look inward, to not forget about what happened back in Buffalo and what happens across our nation, to remember the lives that were lost, and to remember that we are all human beings. So we all bleed, we all suffer, we all cry, we all have loss. And if you can keep those thoughts in your mind, hopefully you can share that with someone else. So when you watch, make sure you like the video, you subscribe, and you join us again. And please comment. We definitely want to hear from you. We appreciate you, Dawn and Joel, for joining us again. Buttercup, thank you so much. It's always good to see you as well. And we're just wishing all of you a good rest of the day. And we thank you for watching.
And one quick addition,
Sure.
real quickly.
Sure,
I don't want to burn up a lot of time. We don't want to forget that in among the victims and honoring them, we want to also to speak out and thank each and every officer of the law who showed up
Yes, yeah,
in 2 minutes
yeah,
and
absolutely,
prevented further tragedy. And
absolutely.
that goes without saying that we're thankful.
Right, as well as all of our state officials, local government, federal government, county, city, and our Buffalo Bills, our
Right.
Buffalo Bills,
Yeah.
the Pagulas,
Yeah, and the Sabres.
the Sabres, the
everybody was-
Bandits.
Yeah, or bandits. Yeah,
Yeah, the Bandits. The Sabres were there too.
But
Yeah,
See-
so honestly, city of good neighbors. I didn't hear you, Cap. Say that again.
Truly does have lots of pride. There is just a lot of support. It is the city of good neighbors, and I think that's one of the most parts that we know that this person who committed this horrific act was not a Buffalonian. And
No.
I think that's part of the anger. That's part of the anger. Of course, it goes much further than that, but that's a little part that he came into our space, our city that, yes, still needs help in racial ways, but this, okay. So I love you, Tiramisu.
Love you, Buttercup.
Dawn and Joel.
Love you.
You're
Love you
making me say it,
both.
aren't you?
Love
I love you guys.
I'm there with him right now.
You're breaking up.
Okay, guys, 2 weeks. We will
Yeah.
be